Everyone. We're going to get started with Nebraska here in just a moment. For those just joining the Zoom for the Nebraska portion, welcome to the 2024 Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl Media Day. For those who are holding out from the Boston College portion, thank you for sticking with us. Just a reminder to everyone, if you have a question, please make sure to use the raise hand function at the bottom of your screen. When you're called upon to ask your question, you'll get a notification to unmute. And then just a reminder to please mute yourselves after you have finished asking your question. As we said, Nebraska should be on in just a moment, and when they are, we will get started with Cornhuskers offensive coordinator Dana Holgerson.
There we go. Okay. All right. Coach Holbert.
Coach Holgerson, thanks for taking some time out of your now afternoon to talk with us. As we just mentioned, the media, please use the raise hand function if you guys have any questions. And we are ready to get started with Coach Holgerson. Anybody want to go first? All right, we're going to start out with Luke Mullen from Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey Dana, just curious about your thoughts about Emma Johnson's play those last couple of weeks of the season, and how big of a part is he of what you want to do on offense moving forward?
Yeah, he did a nice job. Just did a good job of making people miss. That first game he did a couple of routine things that turned into explosive plays. One being a touchdown. And just kept feeding him and challenged him to really work hard on making people miss. And I thought the last two games he did a really good job of that. Making people miss and getting yards after contact, that sort of thing. So, really happy he's here. We had some long talks after the season, and I got to know him better as a person. I did that with a bunch of them, but him in particular was probably about the first one that came in, was, excited about what we did, but there were some buts, and so, we had some long talks, and I think he's a great kid, and he's going to be a special player here, and excited to coach him.
Next, we'll go to Sam McEwen from Omaha World Herald.
Hey Dana, how have you adjusted just to the reality of the transfer portal of guys kind of leaving midstream here. You had a tight end leave, and now running back is in the portal too. As you have to try to build a game plan and not always know who's going to be available, what are the challenges, and how have you adjusted?
Well, everybody's dealing with it, and so, I think that's, there's been a lot of talk out there about, something needs to happen. That's above my pay grade. So, what the few kids that decided to do that, we wish them well, and you just go replace them. I mean, it's as simple as that. I tell you, the one thing that's exciting is, we just finished our ninth practice and we haven't even got into game week yet. I mean, these have been, pretty much 9 developmental practices. And, this past week we started game planning. So it's kind of a mixture of both. And so, it's been fun to watch a bunch of young kids, just start developing. I haven't had this many practices and getting ready for a bowl game in probably 14 years. I think the last time I had this many practices getting ready for a game was 2011 when we played in the Orange Bowl, because it was like a January 6th game. So we just had time and there wasn't that much recruiting. Now there's not recruiting as far as coaches leaving, going out on the road recruiting, and you play a bowl game in 10 days or something like that. That's usually what I've been used to the last 10 years is you have like 1 week's prep. And so there's no developing. And, here, we just finished I think it's our ninth practice. I think it's our ninth practice or whatever it is, or we have our ninth one on Saturday, whatever it is. So it's been really fun to like figure out who these guys are, figure out who the players are that, I didn't really know who they were because they're on scout team. And, if somebody leaves, it's an opportunity for other guys to step in, 23 is not playing in the bowl game, but 28 is going to go in there and he's going to play his tail off because he's had 9 spectacular practices, and so I think that's how you got to look at it. You don't worry about the ones that aren't playing, you worry about the ones that are playing, and you coach them, and you try to develop them and you put them in position to hopefully be successful.
Thanks, Sam. Next, we'll go to Brian Christopherson.
Hey Dana, what's sort of your overview of the offensive line now that you've had a little time to sort of look over what you have, just the foundation there, and are there some young guys you could see maybe getting into this bowl game?
Uh, not, I don't, we need to bring some guys in. Okay. There's 3 of them out there at practice right now. We visited probably 5 or 6 of them and probably going to bring in some more. I mean, we're running out of time here this week. I mean, I know what we got scheduled for guys coming in, but there are 2 on campus right now. Hopefully we get them, and then we'll probably reassess it and bring in a few more, in January. So, my assessment is we had 6 kids that played their tail off, for the majority of the year. And Coach Raiola didn't feel, good enough yet to where you put some other guys in. I do think these 9 practices have been good for those guys, and I really haven't sat down and talked with him about that. He's as good of an O-line coach as I've been around. I trust him to get those guys ready to play and put them in position to be successful. And if he doesn't feel like they're ready, then he's not going to put them in, and so, I liked what I saw out of the guys. I thought they got better for the last 3 weeks, and I think they're eager for game week to go out there and play their best game, a week from Saturday.
Thanks, Brian. Next question will come from Matt Satil.
Hey, Coach. Wanted to see what you saw in DeKal and how adamant you were about bringing him in. Just where that comes from and what you think he can add to this program.
You pronounce it DeKeel. I don't know how to spell it, but you announce it DeKeel. He gets mad at me all the time. That's why I just call him D. But it is DeKeel. I've known him for a long, long time. Ironically enough, when I left the 2012 Pinstripe Bowl, I spent the next night in New York, and then I drove to Jersey, and I did a home visit with Tequil, the Shorts family, his mom, his dad, his sister. Just a great family. I'm close friends with his family, with his dad in particular. And I mean, Tequil's he's like another son to me. Him and my son are super close. But great player, 4-year starter, team captain. Couldn't run very fast, or he would have played in the NFL for a long time. Tough, smart, savvy. Just a guy that you want to be around. Was my player personnel guy for I think 2 years at West Virginia, and then 2 years at Houston, and he made the jump to where he was a receiver coach, great recruiter, flipped our Houston room quickly, and is now gonna have the task to get some wideouts in here that can really make a difference, and I think we'll do that here in the next week. He's an elite wide receiver coach, an elite recruiter. And he's on the right side. Rule likes him because he's a Northeast guy. Coach Rule likes him because he's a Northeast guy, but he's just very personable, and he's a hard worker, and we're excited to have him.
Next question will come from Mitch Sherman from The Athletic.
Hey, Dana. What's your vision for the tight end position moving forward, both next week and beyond, with Heinrich now playing that spot and the young guys you have, and also do you expect to have Fedoni in the available in the bowl game?
Yeah, he's had really good practices. I've been very proud of Thomas. I mean, he's treating this like it's camp. I mean, he's out there just playing his tail off every single day. Luke has been playing his ass off for the last 9 days. I mean, he has all season, but those two guys, their reps have went up, obviously because 87 is going to go do something else. But, Heinrich is transitioning, and looks really good, and so he's another body. The more of those bodies we can put out there, the better. I mean, Wood 16, brings that kind of a body type. I mean, he's not really a tight end, but he's a move around H-back kind of guy. Carter Nelson is a guy that's going to grow and develop into that. So the more of those bodies we can have, the better. We're not turning this into an air raid 4 wideout program. I mean, that's not going to happen. So these tight ends are important, and there's probably 2 or 3 other ones that got a whole bunch of reps here over the last 9 practices that excite me, that are all young and going to keep getting better and better. So, Coach Satterfield's doing a great job. He's an incredible tight end guy and run game guy, to the point to where he gives me ideas and puts those guys and drills them, and it's been cool.
We'll take 2 more. Next one coming from Robin Wassett of Husker Online.
Hey, Dana. I know when you got here, these first few games were kind of just about making the transition as seamless as possible with terminology and trying to keep things as consistent with the guys as you could. Looking forward to the off season, how much do you plan on putting your influence just in terms of terminology and trying to make it your offense as opposed to trying to blend into what Nebraska had been doing?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't even thought about it. That you can say that's crazy. I mean, I should think about it every day. I continued to make sense of it. And so, I can actually write down the plays now. I mean, I know what the terms mean, the terminology, the sets, the motions, the specific plays. I learned more about it, which was important to me because, we weren't going to do anything different going into the bowl game, so it just makes more sense to me. It's easier to call. It's easier to script. It's easier to game plan. What that looks like is between me and a bunch of meetings here and the coaches when we start, in January of trying to narrow that down to kind of see where we're at. I've always been a personnel driven guy. So whatever our best personnel is, we're going to come up with ways that makes sense to everybody to get those guys in position to be able to make plays, and so the one thing I really like about this offense is it's got the ability to be able to do about anything. So, it wouldn't narrow it down from a game planning perspective, but kind of where what direction it takes. I'm excited for those meetings in January, February, March leading into spring ball.
Go back to Brian Christopherson for the next question.
Hey Dana, what can you say about this Boston College defense? What you've seen of them, and what challenges they're going to present you?
Yeah, they're a good football team now. I got to know Bill O'Brien when he was at the Texans down in Houston, and followed his career, and he's a dang good football coach, and then taking over for Coach Hafley, which is a defensive guy, right? And so they do a great job defensively. I mean, their front seven is experienced, old, active, deep. I mean, they play three deep and all that stuff, right? They play a lot of man coverage. Their secondary is always in the right spots. They're the turnover thing is concerning. It's why we lost the Iowa game, and so we got to make sure that we're focusing on that. They're a good football team, well coached. Got a lot of respect for what they do, and then I'm telling you, it's going to be a challenge for us defensively. We knew it would be going into the Iowa game. This is very similar because they're just stingy on defense, and we gotta take care of the ball. We gotta score in the red zone, and they're good on third downs too. So when third downs are there, we got to do our best. It's gonna be a big challenge for our offense going against what's a great defense.
Thanks, Coach. We got one final question from Sam McEwen.
Hey, Dana, I've seen Dylan Raiola progress over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and what do you like about his game? What more have you learned about him as a player, just in the bowl prep camps?
Yeah, just his intelligence, it never ceases to amaze me. I sit in those quarterback meetings, and Coach Thomas is an incredible quarterback coach and very smart, and drills them on protections and coverages, and Dylan's always got the right answer. I've never been around a freshman quarterback that has those answers. I've been around, freshmen in general that are playing at a high level, but not to the point where they understand those questions. So I think the thing that stands out to me is just his football intelligence. You can tell, you can tell that Dad and Uncle Donnie, Dominic and Donnie were probably putting that kid in a film room and showing him a bunch of video when the kid was like 10 or whatever it was. So it's amazing, and it's been fun to kind of see that side of him, in recruiting. I think he's at like every dinner when all these kids come in to, for the transfer portal visits. I think he's there most of the time because he understands the importance of getting guys in here that can help us win. But just a team guy, great guy to be around. Obviously talented and going to continue to get better.
One more follow-up. Are you guys going to look for a running back in the transfer portal now that Dowdell has decided to move on?
No, those are questions that get answered every day. We always going to have people on the board. You never know what it's going to be. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the people are playing in bowl games, and they got 5 days after the bowl games are over to be able to get into the portal. And so I think that's going to be moving forward, just an ongoing conversation of, build your list, because if something happens, you got to be able to get out there. And I think Coach Rule does a great job of that. He's honest nonstop. Just make sure we have people on the boards to where if we need guys, let's go do it. And if it makes you better, then you certainly better be able to do it.
Coach Holgerson, thank you very much for your time.
All right, see y'all. Yeah.
We got Coach Butler coming in now, Michael, so ready to go.
Coach Butler, thanks very much for giving us a few minutes. We'll open it right up for questions. Anyone want to go first? All right, we'll go to Brian Christopherson for the first question.
Hey, Coach. I know obviously it's a different December with guys coming and going. What have you seen just from the D linemen you have, and sort of what they've been giving you in practices?
I think the D line for us this year was our strength, obviously, not only in depth but in production. In the games that we played really well, which were a lot of them up front, I think they were the impactful portion of the defense that allowed us to play the way we played. at the end of the day, you have to be strong up front. I think to have a good defense, and I think any good back seven needs that as it relates to the responsibilities they have in the run game, but also how that front can affect the passing game. So they've practiced their butt off since we've been out there. Everybody's out there giving us reps, continuing to develop. So I'm excited with who we have, and the guys, especially the younger guys coming through. We got some good young players too.
Thanks, Brian. Next, we'll go to Sam McEwen.
Hey, John. I think you're pretty familiar with Boston College head coach Bill O'Brien. I'm just curious, what your thoughts are about facing him and that offense. And then their offensive coordinator used to be a GA for you. So I'm just curious, like what that experience is like preparing for a team in an offense you probably know pretty well.
Yeah, I think that the world has a funny way of coming full circle. Obviously, I worked for Bill for 2 years at Penn State and 4 years at Houston. Very appreciative of all my time with Bill. I had a great relationship with him while I was there. Gave me a lot of responsibility and helped me develop as a coach. So, a lot of respect for not only what he did there in Houston, but as he's continued to go throughout his career, and obviously what he's doing this year at BC. As far as Will's concerned, it's always cool to go, coach against familiar folks. I think he's doing a great job with that offense. Obviously, that offense right now looks a little different than the offense that they ran in Houston. But that's just a testament to the quality of the coaches they have in terms of, using their strengths, trying to maximize your strengths and minimize your weaknesses. So, always used to have fun competing against Bill in practice, competing against the offensive coaches. Obviously, Bill's a fiery competitor. I think I am as well, and it'll be a great matchup for us to go back up against each other.
I wanted to ask a follow-up question about their quarterback. Obviously, he's just basically been their quarterback for the last 4 or 5 games. What did you see on tape of that guy, and how maybe has their offense changed once they switched to him?
I think what he is he knows where to go with the football. You can see he's got a decent feel for, what they want to do in the run game, and how certain fronts and certain coverages may be impactful to what they're trying to do. And, I know Bill's always trying to make sure that his quarterback's prepared to, execute the run game as well as the pass game. And, I'm sure has a good understanding of that to be his quarterback, and the expectations that Bill's always had with the guys that are his trigger man. So, I think he's done a nice job of operating the offense, executing, and they've been pretty good on third down when he's been in there. He has some ability to move around with his legs, which is always a problem. Anytime you face a quarterback that can move around and extend first downs with his legs. So I think he's a nice young player that we're going to have to keep our eyes out for.
Thank you, Sam. We'll move over to Mitch Sherman.
Hey, John. What do you see with this defensive coaching staff as it's come together? Obviously, you've got a lot of pieces, or some that are officially in and some that you're still waiting on. I know Phil Snow was announced today. How do you envision that coaching dynamic with him, and who among these new guys will be with you in the bowl game?
So, obviously that's been a pretty cool challenge, operating over the last however many days it's been without a secondary coach and without a D-line coach. And, you're only as good as your staff. Anytime I've been on a good coaching staff, it's the strength of your staff. So we're just all hands on deck right now. Everybody coaching. I'm coaching everything I can coach. Rob Dvorak's been doing a great job of helping me out. He's the linebacker coach working with the front. Ira, our defensive GA, has stepped up and helped us. And obviously, Coach Snow with his experience and, just kind of having an eyeball over everything. I think that how it's going to work and what it's going to look like when, all the staff gets officially announced is obviously it's a work in progress. I think that each day we'll figure that out, but I'm really excited about my relationship with Coach Snow. It's been great over the phone throughout the season and then on and off of late. I just think he brings a tremendous amount of experience and, is able to bounce out ideas and also just, have a second set of eyes from a global perspective that, at the end of the day, all we're trying to do, whoever's here working with us, is try to make sure the black shirts are performing at the level of expectations and beyond. And whoever's there to help us, I'm going to take input for. I'm not one of those guys that sits there and says, well, me, I. It's us, and we. And if the person that's in the room can help us get better and help the players get better, then I'm all for it.
Next, we'll go to Kevin Suits from the CBS affiliate in Lincoln.
Hi, John. Just wanted to ask about Ty Robinson. In a time of players that opt out of bowl games, you have a 60-year leader who has potential to play at the next level. What does it say about Ty to want to participate and lead the defense in the Pinstripe Bowl?
I think it's a testament to Ty. It's a testament to really all of our, seniors that are there's a lot of those guys that are going to have chances to play in the NFL, and I think it's just a testament to the character of those men, but also the commitment that they have to to this program. I think that's a legit deal. Obviously, my background over the last 10 years in the NFL, I was able to make a lot of contacts with not just coaches, but with general managers, assistant general managers, guys that have. And I can't tell you how many guys that have texted me, "Hey, are your guys playing?" And once we're like, "Yeah, of course they're playing." The level of respect that those guys in that league have for the players that are continuing to battle and they want to finish this thing the right way. So, once those guys made the decision to do that, I told them, "Hey, let's make the best of it. We're going to make them, we're going to help them play as well as they can to continue to improve their stock as their opportunities in football at the next level, come." But I think that's a huge thing, and obviously something that a lot of people aren't doing.
Luke Mullen from Lincoln Star or Lincoln Journal Star. You have the next question.
Hey, John, at linebacker, Vincent Shavers and Willis McGahee, they both got pretty good amount of playing time as freshmen. Just what do you see from them this season, and what do you think of the potential they have to keep growing in this defensive system?
I think they're two young components that, like, when you're a coordinator, I actually heard, Dana talking as I walked in the door waiting, is like, you have to be personnel driven. You want to have a good system, but at the end of the day, your system has got to be one that's making your best players play well. And so, I think those are two young players as well as some others that, we have to make sure that obviously they're operating within our system, but then we have to come up with good enough ideas to really work on their strengths and the things that they do well, whether it's blitzing, covering, rushing, whatever it happens to be, whatever, each player has a certain skill set, some things they're really good at and some things they may need to develop on. So it's your job as the coach to make those areas of weakness and better, but they have certain strengths to really use them and maximize their value within your defense. So I think those are two guys that they're two good young pieces that as we keep building this thing through time, I think we're going to be using them in a way to make sure that their strengths are being used.
Thank you, Luke. Next, we'll go to Matt Satil from KTV in Omaha.
Hey, John, you're a Philly guy. You have a lot of Northeast ties. Any fond memories that stick out when you think about New York City and getting the opportunity to go back there?
Yeah, probably some of them I shouldn't really share on this Zoom. But I grew up in the East Coast, grew up in Philly. Some of my best friends are from that metropolitan New York, Boston College area. Boston, I spent 4 years in Harvard and made some great friends. So that whole corridor in the East Coast, I'll probably have 30 to 40 folks there coming to the game. And because it's Christmas time, probably, quite a few folks coming through to visit with us, while we're there in the hotel or maybe have dinner with. So pretty cool experience. That's really kind of so close to home, only really about 60 miles away from where I grew up. So it's easy to jump on the train or drive up there. It's going to be a cool little thing to do at the Christmas time, no doubt.
Next, we'll go to Robin Wassett from Husker Online.
Hey, John, Dana was talking about just the portal and bowl practices and all the balancing that's kind of going on right now in terms of personnel trying to gear up for this game while also preparing yourself for the offseason. How are you kind of approaching the portal and roster management and, figuring out what you need to address through the portal while also identifying guys like you mentioned, a couple of linebackers that you want to kind of build for the future?
I think that's just like, see, the best way to articulate this is that this whole transfer portal balanced with bowl game is you've got to be light on your feet, man. I mean, you got to be like you're maybe in the middle of a game planning meeting, and all of a sudden you got to jump out and you're having a 30-minute meeting with a prospect that's in on a visit, or you're jumping on a Zoom doing it, or you're watching 15 minutes of tape to make sure, hey, this guy just jumped in, he wants to visit us. So I think you got to be a fast thinker and a mover and a shaker, quite frankly. I mean, you got to be You got to be decisive. You got to be organized. You've got to really have a plan and a vision for what you're looking for because everything happens so fast. You have a guy get in and get out, get in and get signed. It's just, and at the same time, you're also got to keep an eye on your roster constantly because there's people reaching out. There's people reaching out to your players, whether it's through direct or it's people reaching out through a third party. And it's unfortunate in this environment. People said, hey, it's like NFL free agency. No, it's not. NFL free agency is regulated. So like you have to follow the kind of the procedure in the NFL. And at this level, it's so you got to be light on your feet and you got to keep your eye on the prize, which is getting ready for the bowl game against BC in one column. And then over here is maximizing the value and the opportunities to get your roster better, within a short window of time while also managing your own. So it's been fun, but it's been like as a learning experience for me, obviously. But like I said, it's just, I think something that everybody's trying to figure out it's not even a day-to-day basis, sometimes hour to hour.
Any more questions for Coach Butler? Got another one from Mitch Sherman.
Hey, yeah, I've got one more for you. What do you like about adding Williams Nwaneri out of the portal? I know he's been announced by Nebraska, so it seems that he's official.
Keith, I can talk about him. Obviously, like we said earlier, having a great front is critical to playing great on defense. And anytime you can add a piece to that has the ability to affect the run game and disrupt the passing game all in the same player, I think that that's a huge thing. And, so that's what excites us about him. It's really what excites us about all the guys we're going to add up front, because at the end of the day, the more you're able to affect the game with a four-man rush and the variety of four-man rushes, then you can play the variety of coverages behind it. The minute you have to start adding guys to the rush or adding guys to stop the run in the pressure packages, yes, you may have the opportunity to affect the game and maybe get TFLs and sacks, but you're also compromising what's going on behind you. So, dominant D lineman, having had that, over the last 10 years, whether it's Von Millers and Greg Rousseau's or Ed Oliver's or JJ Watts or Whitney Merciless or Jadeveon Clowney, like when you're able to add disruptive pieces to your front, I think you're helping yourself out in the long run. And I think we're always going to be looking, really looking for elite level production in our defensive line.
Thank you, Mitch. We will go back to Brian Christopherson for another question.
Hey, John, what do you make of this Boston College offense? It seemed like they had a little juice with their new quarterback there the last month of the season. What are the challenges they present?
Yeah, I think they're balanced. I think that obviously the run game and the creativity of the run game is a strength for them. It's just a testament to, OB and Will, and obviously their offensive coaches and how creative they are in terms of, trying to attack you in the run game and the different things that they can present. They're just not lining up and blocking you, so to speak. And they're giving you a lot of eye candy, a lot of formations, a lot of motions, a lot of stuff that forces you as a coaching staff to prepare for. And then with that, they have a really, really dangerous play action game. Like any great NFL coach, it's, you're designed to run the football and then develop a play action game off of it. And you can see they clearly have that as part of their DNA and their philosophy. So it's going to be a huge challenge for us, one that we're going to have to play, really well collectively as a defense in order to answer the bell. But they've been putting up points and putting up yards, in recent ball games against good defenses and good competition. So we're going to have our hands full.
Any final questions for Coach Butler? All right, looks like we're good. John, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Just to let everyone know, we're going to pause for just a few minutes while we wait for Nebraska's players, but we will be back shortly with Dylan Raiola and Ty Robinson.
Actually, Dylan just walked in, so just give him 30 seconds there.
Right.
Time might be a little bit after that, but we'll have Dylan now. So.
How's everybody doing? Of
Dylan, thanks very much for joining us.
course, not anytime.
We're gonna open it up for questions now. Anybody have first one for Dylan here? We're gonna go Robin Wassett of Husker Online.
Hey, Dylan, it's maybe another update on how things with you and Dana and that relationship and the chemistry on and off the field has developed now that you've had several bowl practices under your belt and got some good on-field work just to gear on development.
Yeah, it's been good. We've seen a lot of progress and a lot of things have kind of gone as expected and better. So we're excited. It's a long time before for a bowl game. So it's kind of taking this month like a pre-off season kind of deal, and next week get ready and get ready to play this football game.
Thanks, Robin. Next, we'll go to Luke Mullen from Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey Dylan, just with your first bowl game, this prep leading up to it, just how excited are you, knowing that you're going to be headed out to New York City and facing Boston College? Just your thoughts on that opportunity and the stage you're going to be at there in New York City.
Yeah, we're pumped as a team. Myself, I'm excited as well. Yeah, being in New York City, just kind of the whole bowl week to, kind of experience and kind of walk around New York City, but also understanding that we're going up there to win a football game. So I think it's a tremendous opportunity. The guys are excited for it, and the preparation and the process of getting ready for that game is ongoing, and we'll keep getting ready to win the football game.
Next, we'll go to Brian Christopherson.
Hey, Dylan. Dana said whenever there's prospects in Europe, it seems like you're at every dinner and all that stuff with guys. Just how big a deal is that to you? To be a representative and be a peer recruiter in a way, I guess.
Yeah, it's important. It's tremendously important. In order to get where we want to get, we got to get good players. And in that process now of portal guys coming in and just going to dinner, hanging out with them. You try to get to know them, before they get on their visit. So when they're here, a good bit about them. But it's been fun. Definitely a priority. And yeah, it's cool to meet new guys and come from different programs. So it's a cool opportunity.
Next, we will go to Sarab Gokarn from the Heights.
Hey Dylan, based on what you've seen so far on the tape, what kind of challenge does Boston College pose defensively? They've got a consensus All-American and edge rusher Donovan Azaraku. How do you sort of prepare for that challenge?
Yeah, you got a elite pass rusher like him. You obviously got to account for him and make sure that you have him covered, and things like that. So, I think they play tremendously well together. They force a lot of turnovers and then they create a lot of havoc for offenses. So, for us, it's mainly taking care of the football. Any other game we play is take care of the football. So, it's a really good defense. They're very sound. They play very well together. So, we'll have our hands full and we got to be ready for everything.
Next, we'll go to Sam McEwen.
Hey, Dylan, obviously you reaffirmed your commitment to Nebraska, but I'm just curious what those couple days were right after the season ended of people just trying to get at you and people trying to contact your people about leaving Nebraska and all that. Like, what was that experience like, and why did you feel like it was important just to let everybody know, hey, I'm here and I'm sticking with the Huskers?
Yeah, those days were crazy. Kind of out of my control on whatever happened and spiraled. So, for me, it was just, honestly, it was unfortunate. I had to, kind of reassure everyone I was here. I never officially entered, and never really was shopping around. So, yeah, I don't really have much to say other than, that whole kind of deal was kind of out of my control. And, I'm playing quarterback in Nebraska.
Thank you, Sam. Next, we'll go to Kevin Suits.
Dylan, I know you're preparing for a bowl game and you want to talk football, but tonight at 8 o'clock, does most of the players get together to watch the Nebraska volleyball in the Final Four?
Yeah, we'll all be tuned in. tremendous opportunity for them to go win it all. Obviously, elite team. Coach Cook's a great leader. So, believe it or not, we learn a few things watching them play, how tough they are, how resilient they are, and kind of when you kind of go on the runs of a game, kind of how they stay the course. So, yeah, we'll all be tuned in. We'll be cheering for our Huskers, and yeah, we're hoping to see them go win it all and bring back a trophy to Lincoln. Yeah, I think so.
John Simon, you there? My mistake. Justin Frommer from Hastings Tribune. You have the next question.
Hey, Dylan, Dana Holgerson mentioned Quentin Ives as one of the younger guys who have stood out in bowl game practices from your eyes. Just any other younger guys that are just catching your eye and have done some good things over the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think there's a number of guys, Makai Nelson, Keelan Smith. Ja'Cory keeps impressing every day. And there's a lot of guys rotating in there, and it's kind of cool to see everyone kind of just step in there and do their role and do what they're supposed to do. So we have a bright future of young guys, and they've stepped up tremendously.
Thanks, Justin. Next, we'll go to Adam Kruger.
Hi, Dylan. Yesterday on social media, the pictures of you at the school with the kids, reading to them, playing football with them. How much does that mean to you? Can you briefly take us through what that was like, and why do you take time out of your day to do that?
Yeah, I believe in giving back to community, and never forgetting where I came from. I was that kid that was looking up to, Tua Tagovailoa growing up, Bryce Young, all those guys. So it's a blessing to be in the position that I am in here in Nebraska. So yeah, I just wanted to get back out, get back to the community, especially during the holiday season, to just kind of hang out, take a complete step away from football, and go be a kid. For myself, go be a kid and hang out with other kids, and it was fun. I had a great time, and yeah, I'm actually they gave me a bracelet. I'm still wearing it.
Robin Wassett, you have the next question.
Dylan, you talked about being an active recruiter and bringing in new players, but how involved are you in roster retention and trying to sell guys that are currently on the team to buy into the vision of where you guys want this program to go, and making sure that players that are on the roster kind of stick around to see that plan out?
Yeah, I think the guys that know what our program's about and know what we're about, there's not much convincing to be done for them. They've seen what we can do. Through this whole season, there's a bunch of things we learn from, and obviously, see that the close games next year can be not even close wins, but just wins in general. So, I guess it's not that hard, honestly, to just have a relationship already with them, talk to them, see where their head's at, and if they think it's best for them to explore their options, then it's unfortunate, but that's kind of not in my control to kind of persuade them to not come back, because we want guys that will be all in and ready to go for this program.
Thanks, Robin. Next, we'll go to Matt Satil.
Hey, Dylan, curious what your experiences, if any, have been in New York City, and if there's anything that's not on that schedule of events that you're really interested in checking out when you're there.
Yeah, I've only been in New York City one time, and that was for a day to go watch my dad play the Jets. So I'm honestly not sure what to expect. I mean, obviously a lot of people, walking shoulder to shoulder in the city, but go see the 9/11 site, Empire State Building, maybe go shop for a little bit. I don't know, just kind of hang out with my guys and in a different city, and have fun, explore the city, and maybe hop on a couple subways or two.
Anybody with any more questions for Dylan? All right, looks like we're good. Dylan, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, guys. Yeah. Thank you.
Ty Robinson will be joining in just a moment.
Got Ty here now, John.
Awesome. Hey Ty, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Good, good. Thanks for taking some time in our afternoon to chat with us. We all very much appreciate it. We've already got first question ready and waiting for you from Mitch Sherman of The Athletic.
Awesome.
Hey, Ty. As a class of 2019 freshmen, you've outlasted most of the guys who came in with you. But I know Coach Rule mentioned last week that he was going to spend his own money and take a bunch of those guys to New York. What are your thoughts on getting to see them again in that environment, and on Coach Rule's decision to do that?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Just to know that, like, it's so unfortunate that we weren't able to get it done last year. So for those guys to be able to come back and kind of be a part in their own way to enjoy the bowl experience with us as well is awesome. I mean, I think it's awesome that Coach Rule is attributing, that the work they put in is also a part of what happened this year.
Next, we'll go to Robin Wassett from Husker Online.
Hey, Ty, both your coaches talked about these first few bowl practices being a lot about development of younger guys and giving maybe some of the younger players an opportunity to show what they can do. As you look ahead to after you're gone on this defensive line with, all the attrition that's happening in that unit, who are some young guys that you've seen kind of rise to the occasion over these last few weeks to maximize their opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, as usual, Cam and Riley have done a really great job as young guys, just continuing to get better. But for some of the younger guys like Ashton Murphy, Dylan Parrott, who just got moved over in the spring, those type of guys are just going in there. Mason, who's been, awesome off the edge, I mean, just those guys showing up every day, especially with the numbers being light, not complaining about having to take, a lot of the load of those reps, and just being grateful, I think, for the opportunity to, showcase, their strengths to the coaches, and kind of plead why they should be playing, why they should be a key factor in this defense.
Next, we'll go to Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 Sports.
Hey Ty, how would you explain what these December practices have been like? I mean, has it been like almost like a preview of like a spring ball where young guys are really trying to prove their opportunity, or how would you explain it to someone on the outside?
Yeah, so yeah, the young guys, I think Coach Roll has made this really great time for competition. Because he just looking for those guys that just want to go out there and compete and grind and work. And it's kind of awesome because he's let us older guys kind of sit back and also kind of evaluate the guys as well, especially within our group. So me and Nash have done pretty good job, I think, of watching it and trying to coach those guys up, and kind of still be those mentors there, but also reminding them like this is what it's going to look like next year. And like I think it's awesome to be able to get that experience now instead of waiting until the spring, where it's almost every year that I've been here, it's weird not having the guys who you played with last year, and then you go basically 2-3 months without seeing each other except for in winter conditioning. And then you go out there, it's a different feel when you're playing with those guys. So I think those guys have done a really good job of kind of getting comfortable, understanding who goes where. And the guys, I mean, every single young guy out there that's been competing has been awesome to watch.
Thanks, Brian. Next question will be from Kevin Suits from the CBS affiliate in Lincoln.
Ty, you waited a long time to play in a bowl game. How does it feel to be 9 days out from the program's first postseason berth? And since 2016, was there ever any doubt that you'd be playing in this game? Because we're in a time in which some players like yourself that have potential to play at the next level, that they do opt out. Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to be a part of this experience. It was a big reason why I wanted to come to Nebraska, just to help, make it great and be a part of the process to where we get this thing turned around where it needed to go. And I'm loyal through and through to this place, so to be able to represent the Red End one more time in Yankee Stadium, I mean, I'm blessed, I'm honored, just because it's such a privilege to play for this place.
Any more questions for Ty? All right, it looks like we're good. Ty, thank you very much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, everyone. So that puts an end to our media day. Just want to remind you all that recordings of today's sessions, both with Boston College and Nebraska, will be available via the Dropbox link that we have shared in previous releases regarding the Pinstripe Bowl earlier this month.